Meanwhile, Owo detects a massive disturbance from the lake near Saru's village, at least 50 kilometers in diameter. That's a lot of diameters. The Baul stronghold begins to rise from the waters of the lake, protected by a powerful force field. Burnham believes that it could possibly be where Saru and Sarana are being held. The pylons begin to activate in every Kelpian village with an energy buildup capable of wiping them all out at once. They are actually going to commit genocide rather than let the Kelpians develop head teeth. Pike orders them to arm the photon torpedoes. As the Baul stronghold begins sending its energy pulses through the pylons, a burst of energy flies into it from the signal in orbit. Within the stronghold, Saru sees the Red Angel with his own eyes. Now, had we discovered at this point that Saru's vision extended into multiple bands that we don't see? I believe we had.
Yeah, I think so. I want to say that we had done that, because I recall another episode where he was even saying his vision was better even with stuff that they had on the view screen on the bridge.
Oh, you know what? Right. It was the sphere. It's how they figured out that the sphere was trying to say goodbye and not, go die.
Yeah,
I believe he saw into a range where he realized that it was dying. Okay, so aboard the Discovery, the crew is stunned. Detmer remarks the technology required for a pulse that wide would be impossible. Again, everything about this Red Angel so far has been impossible. It's kind of like their own Claire Oswald,
Yep.
Pike and Burnham exchange glances, knowing that this was the work of the Red Angel. Returning to the village the following morning, Saru and Sarana find the villagers confused. Some still holding their ganglia. And when I first glanced at that, it didn't look like ganglia. In the mess hall, Pike slides a pad across the table to Tyler. It's Saru's report, shared in the spirit of cooperation. Thanks to Saru's enhanced eyesight, he was able to get a good look at the Red Angel, describing it as a humanoid in a mechanized suit with access to extremely advanced technology beyond Federation capabilities. Tyler remarks that Control, which models Section 31's threat assessments, is probably rightfully alarmed at what could possibly be a time traveler with its own agenda, manipulating the fates of entire species. Pike remarks that when the Baul were forced to decentralize their power across the planet, the Red Angel took advantage of the Baul's exposure to save the Kelpians from genocide. Tyler replies that the idea was not to end up in another one. The last war had taken a toll on those who had fought it. Punch, punch.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yep. And some of us are still torn apart. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I guess him quite literally.
Yep.
In some ways.
He takes Saru's report and leaves Pike alone in the mess hall. In Saru's quarters, Sarana looks down at Kaminar, mesmerized by the sight. Saru remarked he had felt the same way the first time he had seen his world from orbit. Sarana notes that he took home with him, noting the various native plants he had grown in his quarters. I actually like the design of his quarters quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a really individual, and it doesn't look like anybody else's. It's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I always think the same thing when it shows the inside of his quarters.
Yeah. Saru turns to Burnham, standing behind him, and thanks her for her help. Burnham is reminded of a Greek tragedy writer who wrote that he who learns must suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And even in our sleep, pain cannot forget falls drop by drop from the heart. She admits that seeing Saru with Sarana has taught her one thing, and she needs to go home to Vulcan.
Dum dum dum.
We're off to get back to the story at this point, people.